Students, so welcome back to the practical demonstration. In the last demonstration I have created the data model. Inside the data model I have the student um entity, and then I have that address which is the embedded in the, and then we also have that data type converter for our date field, and then we also have that particular specific student DAO. Instead of giving only a DAO, I am giving it a name as a student DAO, because we are going to create different DAO for each and every table. Okay, so only for the students I have everything here. And then we have the login activity, that is kind of which is the main activity. When we start this application, it will run and it will show you the main activity like this. Okay, where the user can provide the username and the password, and then it can click on the login to get its credential checked, and then if it is success, then we can also click on the sign up, and we sign up. It will go into that particular specific activity. Okay, in that specific activity I try to clean up the things before, from the previous demo. I try to make all the things. I made a linear layout. Inside the linear layout I have a table, and inside the table I have a two column information. So two columns, one for the title and the other one for the input field. And then the user can sign up. Then when the user can sign up, that we are going to check. Here we have only the student ID 1, and then we can add that particular specific student object inside our database using that particular student DAO. And in this way we can handle the student insertion. And in the login activity I have checked that whether the student student username and password are correct or not. If it is correct, then we are going to start the third activity, that is the student main activity. And right now has nothing. Now before we can go into the much details, I would like to add a few things here in that particular data model, as we are going to handle our enrollments of the students inside our department, inside an institution, whatever you want to say it. So I have only the student object, so I want to add the other objects as well, which are the courses, the entities or the tables, you can say that. So courses table, courses. So what I can do, I can simply say that class, and then I say course. Okay, so I can simply let me what we can do here, I can just copy paste a few things from the other. So I have a course, and then I also want that particular specific entity to be named as a courses table. The primary key is going to be auto generated, so we don't need to worry. We have a course code, we also have a course name, we have a course description, and then we have the course level. And I'm also putting the index value on the course level. We can also say that we want to have that particular specific course information or the course things as a unique. So for that particular specific thing, we need to go into that particular what you can say at the table level. We need to add a index. Okay, indices is equal to this, and then we can say that add the rate of add the rate of index, and then we can say that the value is equal to what you can say that we need to have that particular specific value as a course code to make sure that we are providing the right number as copy pasting. And then we can say that it's a unique. Default value is false, so we can make it at a unique. So it means that the elements that are going to go into that particular course code, they must be unique. And then we are also indexing the things based on that particular specific, so it will help us to search for a specific course code from that particular table quite easily. This is, we can add whatever we want, but this is what we wanted. So okay. And the other thing is, if we look at our students table, we also want that particular specific username, that is the email address, that should also be kind of a unique. So maybe I can add index and then say value, and then I can use that particular specific username, that should be the value, and then I say that I want to have a unique true, and then we need to put a comma. So we can also say that this one is should also be a unique value. So let's get back to our, let me close all those things and open up the things which are necessary to open. So student DAO is fine, login activity is fine, there we have the login activity. So we have a course. So in that particular specific course, what we need to do, we need to create a constructor, we need to create a setters and the getters, and you know that we say control N or the control N or the command N based on whichever specific operating system we are using. So we select all the fields over there. We also say control N, we want to get the get methods we want to create. We also want to create the set methods. So our course activity or course entity is ready. The other thing that I want to add here is the enrollment class. In the enrollment class, I have quite a few information, and those informations are that. So what we are trying to say here is that we have an enrollment ID that is auto generated by the system. We also have a student ID. I give this specific name to that particular specific. I also say that it should be indexed. I also have a course ID. I also say that it should be indexed as well, so that we can search the enrollment based on the course ID or the student ID. And we also have the at the end store enrollments, and then of course we need to make that particular specific table or make the specific class as a entity, so that it can represents that particular specific enrollment table inside our database. And after that, of course we need to add those constructors, setters and getter methods. So I'm just trying to create those methods here auto generated by the system, so we don't need to worry about it. So we can have those, so we have those entities, and once we have those entities, we can simply go into our database. Okay, so we have a database, and inside this particular specific thing, we can say that we not only have one entity, that is a student.class, we also have a course.class, that is also an entity. We also have enrollment.class, which is also an entity. So we are specifying those specific things here. Fine. So the other thing is that I want to add here, because we have a student DAO. Okay, so student DAO is there. So so we have insert, we have get all students, and then the other thing that I have added here, that it is going to give me a live list of students and live data. So list of the students, and then we can what is a live, I will show you practically that what does it mean. But it means it's a list of the students which is automatically updated whenever there is data is inserted in the students table, or changed, even changed or inserted or deleted. So this particular specific list is going to be updated automatically. Okay, so that is the live data concept. Data is updating itself automatically. Fine. So far we have added these things, and then we also allow the things. Now we need only have the student DAO. We also want to create a DAO for the class course table. We also want to create a DAO for the, so I am going to insert a class. I say it's an interface, so I say course DAO, and inside the course DAO I am going to add a few things. So right now I'm just like having the standard things. We can read the data, we can insert the data, we can also insert a list of courses, it will return me an array of IDs of each record which has been inserted into that particular specific courses table. Update and the delete. Update or deletes are going to return me an integer value that is representing the how many records has been updated and how many records has been deleted. So based on that, we can say that this one is going to return me the ID of the record which has been added, and this one is going to return me a array of IDs that has been inserted inside the courses table. Okay, so similarly we need to add the enrollment DAO. So we say enrollment DAO, and then we can also let me copy paste the things from the other. So again, I have quite a list of the methods that I have declared here. The first one is simple, so reading all the enrollments from the enrollments table. Second one is the reading the enrollments but making it a live data. Third one is the reading the enrollments for one specific student based on the student ID, and making it a list of enrollments of the live data. This fourth one is more like based on the course ID. We are again returning back the enrollments, updating, insert an enrollment, update an enrollment, and update a list of enrollments, and in case that there is a conflict, then it is going to be replaced by the new one. Delete, and then here actually I have selected the join, but you can say that and when we can also add another thing here, that is more like students and student underscore ID. Here we say that student ID. So we can also make something like this. I don't think that it is going to change anything here, because what we are saying that we are getting the information from the enrollments, and we are using the foreign keys that we have declared inside the enrollment. Okay, so we have the enrollments here. Okay, there is my enrollments, and then here we have declared. Did we declare the foreign keys here? We didn't declare anything here, but why? Okay, so we need to declare the in the enrollments we need to declare the foreign keys. Okay, and how we can do that? We can do it simply. So let me make things clear. So we can say that foreign keys, and then we can say that add the rate of foreign key, and then we can say that entity is the student dot class, parent column is the student ID. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are providing, and then we can say that the last thing is the child column, and child column is the student underscore. The child column is this one. Okay, so I just provide this one, and then let me go back to the student ID. Okay, and then we have, because here the student ID is actually the name of the variable is going to be used as a where is my enrollment? Here is the enrollment, so I will just going to use that particular specific. So this similarly, I mean, I just try to copy paste that particular specific thing here. So here I can say that instead of the entity, I say we have a course dot class, and here we can have inside the course we can this particular specific variable name is actually representing the column name, that is the parent column, and then we also have the we need to provide this one here as a, so we have defined those columns. So now what we were trying to return from this one is our student enrollment data. So we are not only returning the enrollments fields, but we are also returning all the fields of the courses, and we don't have any kind. So we need to make another, what you can say that let me copy this particular and student enrollments data. So that is the name of the class. I will quickly show you what does it mean. So we have a class, and here we can say that we have an enrollment. We also have a course object, and the other thing that we need to tell that it is an embedded. Okay, so these two fields are embedded. This is not an entity. Okay, this is not at all an entity. And of course then we can create the constructors, and then we also create these getters, and then we also create the setters. So I have created that one, and as soon as I have created this particular specific class, so what does it happen here when it is going to run that particular specific query, and it return me back the courses fields from the courses table as well as the enrollments table based on that particular specific query. It is going to save the enrollment information in the enrollments object and the course information in the course object, and then we have a list of this particular specific enrollment based on that particular specific query, and we are making it a live list. Okay, so in this way we have the enrollment information as well as the course information. We can also include the what you can say that is student information, but when we are talking about the student information, okay, let us say that we also have the student information, and here we need to provide the name of the we have the students, so we can say the students dot study. And then in this case we have to go back and tell here that we also have a student object for, and then it is also an embedded one. So in this way we have enrollment and everything. So let me delete that particular specific thing because we have added one field. So we control and constructor, we setters, and then we also have the getters. So getters and setter, get and set methods, we also have that particular specific what you can see that the constructor. So in this case we have that particular specific thing, and the same thing we need to do over here as well. Okay, students, and here we don't have the students because we need to add that particular specific thing here. So we are trying to add that particular specific, like join part, because if we don't join the things then we can't have the students part. So we are reading the information, whether it is a live or the live based on the student ID or the course ID, inserting the enrollment, updating the enrollment, and updating the enrollment list, and deleting the enrollment list. Here we are trying to get the all the enrollments from our data, and that is we are not only getting the enrollment, we are also getting the enrollment information, we are also getting the course information, we are also getting the student information. So all based on that particular specific record. For example, the student ID is 1, then in the student part it will have the student ID 1 information. If the course ID is 2, then in that particular specific, like this particular specific table or the class will have the course related to the course ID 1. So it will have the information based on the record that is present in the enrollment. Okay, so yeah, so we have created our DAOs, and we have also added our entities. And now what we need to do here inside our the database class that we have only one abstract method which is going to return us student DAO, but now we need to have the abstract which is going to return me a course DAO, and then we can say that course DAO and that method, uh, and then we can also say that public abstract, and then we say that it is going to return the enrollment DAO, get enrollment DAO. Okay, so these methods are actually implemented automatically by the Room framework, so we don't need to worry about that. Fine, so we have configured our Room database as well. Now what I want, the whenever I go and add this particular specific place, show me all the students which are present inside my database, for example. And for that purpose, I'm going to use a recycler view, and I'm also going to use it's still working on it, trying to import the library, and then I am also going to work as the card view. So I'm just going to so now what I will do here, you know that we need to have a student list item layout. Okay, so I'm just copy from the other project and pasting it in our layout file. So we say this one, so maybe I can say that student list item underscore layout, do that. So we have that particular, so we have a name, we have a username and the mobile. So these are the few information, and based on the we are showing the picture based on that particular specific. So if I just try to rebuild this project, it will show me the colors and as well as that particular specific. So interface DAO, course interface DAO, say that DAO class must be annotated with the add related DAO. Yep, we need to have annotated the DAO. I think that the same thing we need to do for the enrollment as well. So we forget to annotate that particular specific part. So this is the good thing about the Room architecture, Room framework, that instead of showing us the what you can say that the information at the runtime, it is going to give us those information at the compile time, and then if there is an error, we can fix it before we can hit the run button and execute that. So we have that particular specific card in which we can show the user. And for the recycler view, you know that we need the recycler. First of all, we have a recycler view, so we can say that student view holder. Okay, and that should be the child of the view holder. Okay, and we need to implement the constructor. And if we look at that particular specific what you can say that this layout, so we have the picture, we also have the three different text views in which we need to show the data. So we need to have those particular specific variables here. So let me what I did, I have a student name text view, student username text view, and student mobile text view, and then I also have the image as well. And then I also need to initialize them. Initialize mean that we need to connect these variables with the actual UI elements which are present inside our layout, and using the IDs we are connecting them, so that whenever we are going to change the information in using these variables, they will be shown on the user interface. Okay, so that's it. So we are done with that particular specific student view holder. So let me add another class which is called the student recycler view adapter. adopter, it should be the child class of the adopter, and it is going to take the view holder, student view holder, as a parameter, and then we can implement the methods. The first thing is that we need to create that particular specific so because it is a students list of the students, so we can say that we have a list of student. So we have student list, and it should be in the beginning it should be null, and then we need to have a constructor which is going to initialize that particular specific data part for this adopter. So we can say that public student recycler view adopter, which is going to take the list of student as a input. I say that data, and then we say that student list is equal to data, so whatever it is, so we are, and then we can say that if that particular student list is not equal to is double equal to null, I mean if it is null, then it is going to return me 0. In the else part, it is going to return me the student list dot size, whatever the size of, I mean this will tell us that how many elements we have in our list view that we need to show. The next thing is that we need to create that particular specific view holder for things. So we can say that we need a layout inflator. Inflator is equal to layout inflator dot from, and then we get the context dot get context, and then from here we are going to create a view is equal to inflator dot inflate r dot layout dot student list item layout, who is the parent of this one, and then it is not going to be connected or the attached with the root. And at the end we are going to say that we want to create a new student view holder and pass this particular specific view. So create an inflator, inflate that particular specific layout that we have created here, this one, inflate, creating all those card and the view and the text view and font. So it will inflate, create that particular in terms of the objects, Java objects, and at the end we are going to pass that particular specific layout to the view holder, which is going to hold that particular layout for us to show the data. And then at the end we can say that we need to have that conversion. So we need to put those particular specific data parts, so we initialize it. So first of all I can say that student is equal to student list dot get, and whatever position, whatever data we want to show it here, it will be shown. And then we say holder dot student name tv dot set text, and then here we can say that student dot get first name, and then we put a space between the first name and the last name, and then we will show the last name. So we have those. Okay, what's set or not? No, we not set, we say get last name. Okay, so we are getting that particular specific last name and showing it in the name text view. And then we same thing we are need to do for the student username and dot set text, and we say student dot get use, not user mobile, we are going to get the user name. Okay, and the same thing we are going to do for the mobile. So mobile dot set text, and then we say that student dot get user mobile. So in case of the image we need to check, so we say that student dot get gender dot equals, if it is equals to male, then we can say that holder dot image dot set image resource r dot drawable dot boy. Otherwise, if in the else case we are going to say that holder dot image dot set image resource, and then you say r dot drawable.girl. Okay, so in this way we are set these things. Now what we need to do, because we are going to show that particular specific things here, so at here under that particular specific button we are going to add a recycler view match parent, and then we can we can say that we want to have the some we have a top margin and the left margin, so let me put those margins here. Margin bottom 30 dp, okay, and then on the top again I said leave that, or maybe we don't want to leave anything, there is a lot of margin between these two. Okay, fine. So maybe I can just try to convert it into, or let me see, leave it at. And now we need to add, of course, the id, and id we can provide here what, so we can, I'm just trying to make things same as my thing that I have done before, so that I can reuse my codes, otherwise I need to. So I have given the id to that particular specific recycler view, and then what we are going to do here inside our what you can say that so here we say that in the onCreate method we say recycler view is equal to find by id r dot id dot login recycler view, okay, and then here we can say that recycler view dot set layout manager, we say new linear layout manager, and then pass the context, and then we also say that recycler view dot set adapter, and then we say that new student recycler adapter, and then we need to get that particular, and you remember that we have that DAO that is going to return us, so we can say that student DAO dot get all students. So we are saying that get me all students, it is going to provide that particular specific data over there, and it is going to be executed like that. So I will show you exactly. I mean, right now we are not using the live data, so we are just hit the run button here, okay, and see that things are working. So the first thing is, I mean, right now we don't have any kind of a users here, so we have to sign up. So we say that we have and then we have the first name and the last name 01 027 449, and then we have 14 10 1979, and then we have 448 Albert Street, Coco 22, and Palmerston North, and then we have. So when you click on sign up, okay, it is taking us back, but it is not showing me that particular specific username. So let me rerun that particular specific application and see the wonderful things. So now it is coming up. The point is that when you add the things over there, when you created that particular specific activity, then it go into that particular specific database, and it say that there is no record over there. But when you go into the sign up, you add that database, but it is still did not show up. When you run it again, it again go to the database, and then when it is creating that particular specific login activity, it is go into the database and return back. So now this time it has the one record it show me up, but this is not going to work. I mean, it should be updated automatically, so that we won't have a list of the students here. So how we can have, we can have like something like this inside our adapter. We are inside our student recycler view adapter, and here we make a public method update student list, not feta, like data, and then it actually receive a what you can say that list of student data, and then again I say that student list is equal to data, and then we need to notify the data set has changed. So in somehow we need to call this particular specific method from our startup sign up activity. So when we are adding that particular, and when that particular specific student insertion is successful, then we are showing that particular. So here at that place we need to find a way to update adopter data. Okay, so okay, spellings ADAP, adopter. So we need to update that particular specific adopter data. If we want to update it, it means that we need to get the access of that particular specific data object. So we can say that we are going to create, we also have a null student view. We also make a static student recycler view adopter is equal to null in the beginning, and then we can say that our adopter is equal to, instead of assigning it here, so we are control X adopter, and then here we can simply say adopter. And because it is a static, I can always inside our sign up activity I can simply say that login activity dot adopter dot update student, and then because again we are going into the student DAO and get all students. So when we are doing that, okay, so it is going to update. But we also have another problem. Now if I just try to rerun my application, it is going to give me an error message. The reason is that the student ID is uniquely given. I mean, I am always using the one. If I use the one and it is going to insert, it will say that it's that particular specific ID already exists, so I cannot insert the record. If you want, I can like show you. Okay, so for example, Alice at disney.com, and I also okay, well, I need to provide, I have put that particular specific constraints. It should be 8 character long, so it has to be Alice okay, let me because it is not going to add 021 027 444 29, and then we need to provide 01/01. Sometimes this here we can put whatever we want. Okay, and we need to put some, if I say sign up, it is giving me the error, and I can quickly go and see that particular specific error, and it is saying me exactly the same thing: could not execute the method. So illegal language exception. So where exactly could not execute the method? This one, app compact. Okay, so look, it is saying me that there is an Android SQLite constraint exception. Unique constraint student ID is not unique. Because of this, we are using a one particular value here. So now we need to find a way to update that particular value based on the information which are present inside. So maybe I can put something like this. We have a long next student ID, and then we need to somehow initialize that particular specific student ID. So next student ID is equal to student DAO dot get all. It is giving me a what you can say that a list of students. So I say size, if the size is 1 2 3 4 5, and then I plus 1. So plus 1 means the first time it will be 1 if it is 0 size, then it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So automatically this is going to increase. The other thing that I need to make that particular specific variable static. So once it's a static, I can always inside my sign up, I can always here I can say that login activity dot next student ID. So in this case, when we say next student ID, it will see that the one record already exists over there. So 1 plus 1, so second it will be 2, and then I also say plus plus. So when I use that 2 here, but I also go into the login activity and add that to make it 3, so that I can add more records without reconsulting the database. Okay, yeah, that is one way to handle that particular specific issue. So let's run it. So again I just go into that one, and this time because it is going to be added, so I will just try to dot wonder at disney.com, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we say that Alice Wonder, it's a female, and then we say that 021 000 1111. Okay, 10 characters we need to make sure. 01 slash 01 slash 1950, and 1 Princess Street, Wonderland, and then city is Disney, and we say sign up. So now if I just, we have that particular, because we have called that particular update method on the adopter, so now we have we can see that particular specific, I mean we can add as many students as we want, but this is what can be done. Now we have used a naive way to handle that, or to update that particular specific thing. The other thing is we are always doing the things inside, I mean this main activity, this contain the DAO method over there, and then we also have the static values, and then we have the adopter and all that. I mean once we are going to have 10-20 activities, and then trying to access the student DAO from that particular specific static context, and that things will become cumbersome, and that particular specific um, code is not going to work in a proper way. We will have like not a clean code, you can say that. So we need to fix that before we can move forward and to run this thing. So for that we have a what you can say that we have that particular specific model view model. Okay, that is the architecture. So how we can try to convert that thing into a model view model, and as well as using the live data, and make things more clear as compared to using in this way. So how we can do that, we I try to add a Java class here, so we can say that what you can say that we can we have a week 09 practical demo data model. Okay, so I'm just creating that particular class, and this class is a simple Java class. It is not going to be extended by anyone, it is not going to be do anything. So what it will do here, I mean I will just try to make things simple. I have that particular specific 3 DAOs. I just try to create those student DAO, enrollment DAO, and so on. Okay, so I have created those particular specific student DAO, class DAO as a data which are going to be interfaces between the room database and this particular data model. And then inside my, what you can say that constructor, I'm going to initialize those things. So week 09 data model. Okay, and then it is going to get the application, not activity, application, and application. And then we are going to say that we say week database is equal to week database dot create database, and then we give the application as a context. Once we have that particular specific database, student DAO is equal to database dot get student DAO, course DAO is equal to database dot get course DAO, and then similarly we say enrollment DAO is equal to database dot get enrollment DAO. So we create a variable, and then we are getting all those methods, and we have our access to these DAOs. Fine. So after that we can have like a simple, what you can say that I'm just trying to do things here. So what I'm saying that, so we try to go into the student DAO, get all students, whatever that size is, +1, and it will return me a next student ID. Now we are not putting as a like static variable or something. I'm just have a method in my data model, and which is going to give me the next valid student ID for my inserting a new student inside my database. I always call this method and get the new next ID. I don't need to worry about it. Similarly, for the inserting the student or inserting a student, I have this particular specific method. Let me remove that particular specific thing. So we say that we have that particular, I can simply also say something like this. Okay, so we can simply say that this and this one is going to be okay, let me delete it. As simple, I say that I want to insert, so I take a student as an object. I ask the student DAO to insert that object inside my room database, and whatever is being returned, that is normally returned the record ID. Okay, that record ID is I'm going to return back to the whoever called that particular specific insert method. The similarly we can say that get a live list of students. Okay, we are getting the live list students, and it is going to give me a live list of data from my student DAO. This is what we're talking about, live list of this data. Okay, so let me go back to my yeah, here is the data model. Okay, so inside the data model I have this insert the student and the this one. We can also have the what you can say that for all the methods, the methods here, I can have the method to access those methods here inside my data model if I wanted to. For example, what you can say that by email, if I want to search something. Okay, that is what we need. We also, if I want to get by the last name, we can have that particular specific method. So what I am saying that go asking the student DAO to get me the student by its email, if it will verify that particular specific email string based on that, and then it will return me a list of students. Yeah, normally this is a unique value, so it will always return me a 1. So if it is 1, then I am going to return the first element in that list, otherwise I'm going to return 0. The same thing is for the last name. If it is not equal to 0, then I'm going to, because last name, maybe there are multiple students which has the what you can say that which has the same last name, so maybe it is a list of students. So I'm just checking that if there are some students which has been returned by this particular specific method, then I'm going to return it, otherwise I'm going to return the null. And we can also get the, similarly we can get the students by the email, okay, or mobile number. So based on we can search the students from by email, by last name, by mobile. And again, in case of mobile, if it is I think I have mentioned that thing, that it should be in my students table, that particular specific unique should be true. It means it will be a unique value. So again I can say that if it is double equal to 0, then return me the student dot get 0 1. Okay, so that is actually a student list. If the student list dot id size is double equal to 0, and then we can say that student list dot get 0. Okay, and we because we changed that particular specific thing, so we need to change the return type as well, otherwise return null. So we are going to use these methods or not, that's a different story, but yes, for all the methods which are there, we can create these kind of interfaces between the model and similarly we can say that for our students as well as the okay, so we have the students. Again, it is going to return that particular specific thing, so it will say that whatever update that student and whatever integer is being returned, it will return those things. Fine. So now we have this data model which can provide us all the information which are required. Okay, on top of that we need to have that particular specifics. Again, we can say week 09 that view model. So view model is also a class, so I'm adding that particular specific class. So we say that practical demo view model. Okay, and then this should be the view model. Again, look at that, it is coming from our life cycle Android X life cycle library, and here we need we can have like week 09 data model. This is our data model, and is I say that it is null, and then we can have then public week view model, and then we can say application, and then we can say that this data model is equal to new week data model, and then we provide the application, that is the context, and we have that particular specific data model. And we can have like kind of the same kind of methods which are going to access each and every method inside our what you can say that data model and get us the values. But now because it is a child class of the view model, it know it is that particular specific class is aware of the what you can say that activity state, in which specific state it is running, it is stop, it is paused. So all those activity, it is know that thing. Why it is so? Why we need to do that? For example, I have this one and we are in this sign up. Okay, and then we are still in the sign up, the user has added the data, and then here we are using the life cycle. I think that it is better that I can show you the thing, then it will be much more easier to understand. So we have created that view model, we have that one, and then here we have the method which is the public method, which is going to return me a long, and then get next student ID, and then it is going to return me something. So we say data model dot get next student ID, and we are going to return. Okay, so now the activity is not going to directly ask the model to give me the data, it will ask the view model, and view model asks the data model, and data model is going to return back the answers. Similarly, we can say that we also have the other method, which is the what you can say that insert student. Okay, it's a public method which is going to return me a long value, insert student, and then it take a student object as a student, and then we can say that it return data model dot insert student, and we pass on the student to that method. And the similarly thing, we can say that public, it return me a live data as a list of student, and get live list of list live student list. Okay, so when you have live student list, it does not take any, but it is going to return me data model dot get live student list. So we have the insert, insert, okay, insert student, and then we have this one. So let me go back and remove that particular specific thing from here. Okay, I mean, I don't have that particular specific student DAO. I also don't want to make that particular specific adopter as a and object. Okay, I also don't want to make this one. So of course this line will go away. This line will also go away. Okay, but the point is we need to set that particular specific adopter, and where we are going to set it I will show you shortly. And then valid student. So because we are for the validation, we need to have something like that which is going to get a student by email. So we need to have a method here which is going to get that particular specific things for us. So let me again copy paste the things from here. Okay, so what we are saying that get a student by email, we are providing the email and it will return me back a student object. Okay, so and that is inside our view model. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to create a view model here. Weak view model is equal to null, and then here inside we are going to say that view model is equal to new weak view model, and then we say get application. We are getting the application, that is the context, and it will create that one. And then instead of having that particular specific DAO, we are going to say that view model dot get student by email, and then once it is going to return me a student object itself, not a list of objects. And then here we don't need to check the size. Here we need to say that if it is not equal to none. Okay, and because we can go into that one, we go into that one, and here we are checking if it is size is 1, it is going to return me the student object, otherwise it is going to return me null. And that is what we are checking it here, that if that particular specific student object is not null, then we can get the things student dot get password, and if that password is correct, then we are saying that again we are saying that we need to, instead of having get 0, we are going to get the student object, pass on that object, and then of course we are using that particular specific. We can also move this particular specific thing inside, but okay, let me keep it here. So in this way we have fixed the things from like this, but right now we still having something here. So now, because now we have the view model, and inside the view model we have a method which is giving us the live list of students. So we can say that view model dot get live list of students. Okay, and we can observe that list. Who is observing? Of course this activity, and we need to create a new observer, and in that particular specific activity we are going to say that recycler view dot set adopter, and here we are going to say something like this. Okay, so instead of having that particular specific, because it is take a list, so we already have a math parameter students. So what we did here again, so we have a view model, we fix where we are based on the view model, we fix the part where we are going to check the username and password. We check the email, and then we also get the student from the database object, and if it is not null, it means that it has been returned by the database. And then we are comparing the password. If they are equal, we are going to log in, otherwise we are not going to. And it's at that list view, we are saying that from our view model we are getting a live list of students, and we are observing it. Who is observing it? This particular specific activity is observing it. Okay, and then inside, whenever there is a change inside that particular live list of the students, it will go and change the adopter. So now inside this adopter, we don't need this particular specific method. We don't need have that particular specific method. Let me put it like this so you can see that we don't need to have that particular specific method which is to update that particular specific name data part, which we have done in the what you can say that in the sign up. Now again in the sign up, the things have changed, especially when we are trying to access the student DAO or the next student ID. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to create instead of like asking the main activity or login activity, we are saying that no, we are going to have our own view model, and then we need to view model is equal to new week view model, week view model, and then we say get application, that is a context. So now we have a view model here. So what we need to do here, so instead of asking the login activity and give us the next student ID, we are asking the view model dot get next student ID. It will give me a return long value that is going to be used inside to create that student object, and then we can insert. Once we say insert, again we are not going to ask the student DAO directly, we are going to ask the view model dot insert student, and we are going to pass that particular specific student object to insert it. If it is return not equal to -1, it means that student has been successfully inserted, and now at this particular specific point we don't need to update we don't need to update that particular specific adopted data. I mean, we are not doing it. And the other thing is, I'm not finishing it. Okay, I'm not finishing that particular specific activity. I will press the back button to go back. Okay, so let us run this application and add a third student. So if you look at that, we already have our 2 students which are there. Okay, I mean, even using the live, it does not change any behavior. It has those particular specific students. So I say go sign up. So now we can say that which princess you like. Okay, maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Leonardo at teenageturtle.com, turtle.com. Password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, Leonardo and Teenage Turtle. Okay, it's made. Mobile is 021 1111 and then we have 01-01, and I think it's 95 96. That is the time when I was young, and then I can see those cartoons. Okay, they are living in Hollywood, Hollywood. I don't know. Hollywood, and then we have the postcode, and then we say sign up. When you say sign up, the user has been successfully added, but one thing is very much clear: the live data, the life cycle. Right now, this main activity, the login activity, in which that we have that recycler view or the list of the students, it is not updated yet, because we are still, that particular specific activity is in the stop state. It is not visible to the user. If it is not visible to the user, the adopter or the view holder does not need to update the data inside that one, because we don't need to update the data when nobody is using it. Okay, so once I click the cancel, Of course, at this time, once I click the cancel and this particular specific activity it is coming back into the view, then this particular data is updated. So that's why we call it the view holder is actually a life cycle aware class which know the user interface life cycle, in which specific state they are, and if they are in the stop state or if they are in the pause state, they don't need to update the data. But when they are coming back into the front, they are running, then it is going to data is going to be updated. So it make the things more efficient and the live. So this is like we have the login activity or the sign up activity, and they are communicating with the view model, and view model is communicating with the data model to get all the data. And then view model does not need to worry that the data model is getting the data from where. It just say that I need this information, it give me back information, that information is coming from the room database, that information is coming from our remote database, that information is coming from our some web services, that information is coming from some file. It does not need to worry about that. It's only know that if I make this request, it will, the data model is going to return me back this information that I need to pass on to the login activity or some user interface. That's it. So this is our view model view model architecture. Okay, so far we have handled the what you can say that we have added a few things here. And the other thing is that I would like to show you here Abbas Malik at yahoo.com, and then we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then I click on the login. When I click on the login, and then if I just try to run that particular specific application again, I need to, I mean, if it is my personal, it is my mobile and I am the only student here, then why I need to log in every time? You know, you understand my point? So why I need to log in every time when I am doing that particular specific thing? Okay. And the other thing is I want to introduce a specific what you can say that the menu. For that particular specific menu, I am going to add a menu folder. So go into the resources, and then I say that I want to make a new Android resource directory, and we select the menu here and we click OK. An empty menu resource folder is added. Now I can say that right click on that menu resource folder, I want to add a end menu resource file. So we can say that this is our main menu bar. Okay, this is something which is and then we can have different type of we can, I just try to keep it simple. So we are just going to add some item, and the title is something which is compulsory. So here we can say that home, and here we are not. So it is actually going to show me 3 column and drop down menu. So let me add a few icons here so that we can have that things. Vector assets, click on that one, click home, I say home, I said okay. I want to change that color to white, choose it, and then I also want to make them 40 pixels, and then I change that particular 24, and next, and next. So here I can simply say that I can put the icon here, home icon, and then I can say that show as action, I will say always. So when I say always, it is always going to be shown, provided that there is enough room for that particular specific icon. Similarly, I just try to add a few things from my other I just show you how we can add that particular specific icon. So let me add a few things. Add it, sign out, what else? Okay, so let me copy them and paste them in that particular specific folder. Okay, so I have some like cloud. Okay, so I also have the application bar. So if I just say that add, I also have this add thing. So I am going to change that particular specific menu and add a few things here. So and then see that if everything is there or not. I am going to add a few items here. So if we look at that, we have the add, we also have the edit. When we click on those, we are going to edit the username information when we are when we are adding enrollment. When we press on the home, we also have the remote DB, and then sign out and so on. So we have that particular specific menu, and this menu we want to use with every after the login. Once the user has logged in, we want to use with every activity. This is very important. Okay, so we can say that view holder, this is a view holder class. Sign up activity we have all done. Login activity we have all done. I think we have, I mean, we are calling that particular specific main student main activity. Okay, so let me close it down. We have the view model, and then we can have this particular specific this one, and then we also need to look at the student main. Right now we are not doing anything here, so what we can do here, so let me make it simple. Make it, I mean, we have this one, we have this one, so add these two things, room framework, and then I want to add a welcome text. Okay, where is the welcome text? Here it is. So I say that I want to make a welcome for my okay, so I want to give a welcome message to the user. Then I also have some buttons, and as well as a recycler view. So I have these buttons. Okay, yeah, this is the place where I give the welcome message. Then I have two buttons for the adding enrollment or the student information changing, and then I also have a recycler view. Okay, recycler view will show me the enrollments for that particular specific student, the current enrollment that in which it has enrolled. Because we have the click event, so we can always say that we want to go and create those methods. Alt enter and select the create options. So once we have done that, if I want to what you can say that I want to add a menu, then I will have something like this. What is that? On create option menu. Okay, and then we can say that get menu inflator dot inflate, and then we need to provide r dot menu dot menu bar, and then menu. So this one line will create that particular specific menu. If I just try to not, okay, let me remove that line and run that application. I mean, right now we are just trying to look at abbas.malik at yahoo.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we can simply say login, and then right now it does not show me any kind of what you can say that any kind of menu bar. If I just do that one line, and then it is going to show me, but the point is we need to first login abbas.malik at yahoo.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then we can log in. Once you log in, you can see those things. Right now we are not performing anything here. Okay, the other thing is, I mean, this particular specific thing is quite annoying, that every time we need to log in. So we can have another thing which is called check preferences. Okay, okay, we can use the shared preferences to save all those information inside. So what I am going to do here, I have that particular specific inside my login activity. I'm just trying to create a new method here, and the other thing is we need to have that particular specific preference data. So if I just try to have that particular specific user preference data and put it inside, just like we have declared this particular specific variable to give the key value for the when we are putting the intent of student object inside the intent. So we have defined these users. So we can define this informations whether here, okay, or maybe inside our view model. I mean, if I just try to go into my view model, and on the top I can define those kind of variables. So these are the variables. So again, week 9 view model, okay, so it is static, private, static, okay. So we have defined static final. No, it is not allowing me to do that. What's the reason? So we have a login activity, they are in the same. We can make them public. When you make them public, it will be visible. Public, public, public. So when you do that, okay, view model dot sub week 09 practical demo view model, okay. But the point is, why it is not showing me that particular specific. It's a public. We make it public, public, public. We have those strings. Let me rebuild that particular specific application. Okay, and then we say user node. Okay, that's very strange. I mean, we make it static. So once we have make it static, it should be visible to us. So where is my view model? It is where we put it. We put it in the data model actually. So that was a reason. Okay, keep it public. So we have to put it in the view model, not in the data model. So once we do that, then it is user preference data, name and so on. And then if the user is actually what I have done here inside my login activity, I also create a method which is going to return me a boolean value when we are making a login things, okay. So we have this particular specific. Instead of having the view model, we can simply say, because this one is here, okay, fine. And then we are passing the, instead of making the login, we are passing that particular specific if the student is not equal to null. So actually here at this particular specific point, we are not doing anything, rather we are said login, and then we pass on the username and the user password. So that is what we are doing here. So actually I have removed that login part from that particular login click event and put it in a separate part. And then what we are doing here, so again we are giving the username, that is the email address, asking the data model to get back the student. If the student is not null, we are comparing the passwords and checking it. If that particular specific password or what you can say that the is password is correct, then we are going to start the start main activity, and then putting the student object inside the intent and passing it and return true. Okay, and in that particular specific case, when if it is true, okay, uh, we are passing we are is valid login. So we say if that particular specific thing is true, we are going to add this user info inside the preferences. Okay, PREFEREN preferences. Yeah, preferences, we are going to add that particular specific thing inside the preferences. And how we can do that? I mean, whenever that particular specific user is logged in and it was successfully logged in, we are going to say shared preferences is equal to get shared preferences, and then we need to provide the name, and that name is actually coming from weak view model dot user data, and we are say that mode underscore private. So we are creating that particular, I mean opening that particular specific preference. If it is already done, already there, it's a named preference. So if it is there, then it will open. If it is not there, it will be created. And then because we want to write the information, we need an editor. So shared preferences dot editor, we say editor is equal to, and then we say preferences dot edit. So when it will return me back the editor, and using that editor we can write the information. We can write put string, and then we can say that weak model dot user name, and then we have that particular specific, okay, cancel, I don't want to do anything. So we have that particular specific username, we need to put that inside it, and then we also have the editor dot put string, and then we have weak dot user, and we also have a user password. So we have not name, we have put the password here. So username and password, and at the end we are say editor dot commit. So we are going to commit that particular specific thing here. So whenever we are logging in, and if that particular login is successful, then we are updating the username and the password inside our shared preferences. And inside this one, this is checked preferences. So here what we can say that check preferences, inside our own create method, I'm calling this method. So what this method will do, it will open that particular specific shared preferences. If that particular specific shared preferences contain the username and the password, and they are, I mean, because if they are not null, it means that information exists in the shared preferences, and it will ask the username and login username and password to be used and automatically logged in. Okay, so of course when I run now, it is not going to allow me to log in directly, but definitely once I run next time, it will allow me to log in. But what's going on? Yeah, okay, so we say abbas.malik@yahoo.com, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and when I click on the login, it is going to allow me to log in. But now and we have that. With next time, if I just try to run it again, it is not going to ask me that particular specific login things again, unless and until we click on the sign out. But of course we need to implement that particular specific behavior as well. Now what I want to show you one thing. So I have created that particular specific student main. In that particular, I have overridden that particular specific on create option menu, and then we also have another method that is on option menu selected, and then what we need to do. Okay, so we can say that switch not sw switch item dot get id, and based on the id, for example, I say that r dot case r dot id dot app menu bar enrollment list app menu bar sign out. Okay, and then break. So whenever we are clicking on the sign out, I am going to take the shared preferences. Preferences is equal to get shared preferences, and week dot this is the name of the preferences, and then we also need to provide the mode private, and then we can say that we need to edit the thing, so definitely we need to have that particular specific editor is equal to preferences dot edit, and then we can say that editor dot remove, we need to provide that key, so that key is coming from our view model dot username, and then we also have the editor dot remove and week view model dot user, that's user password, and then at the end we are going to go dot commit, and then we can say that because we want that all the activities which have been started, we want to finish affinity, not finish activity, we say that finish affinity. So actually it is more like removing all the activities, because once we have logged out, sign out, and we have removed those information, we don't want to the user press the back button and go back to the edit user information or edit or adds enrollment. So okay, we don't want to do that. So this particular specific method will remove all the activities from the activity stack, and now we can simply say that intent is equal to new intent, and we say pass this, and then we can say that it's a login activity dot class, and then we can start that particular specific activity, start activity and intent. So okay, maybe I just try to make sure, because we are passing this as a context, so we don't want to, we create an intent based on this, and then we can close all the activities and then start the activity. So I have just clicked make this one option clickable, and then run this particular specific. So now if I just try to sign out, it is going to close that activity, and it's coming back to the previous activity or the login activity, and again I can use the alice dot wonder at disney.com. So it is added. So once I click on the logout, it is going to be. So now if I just click on the enrolled thing, I want to I didn't get that one as well. So what we need to do, we need to show, once it is like it is showing me a toast message, instead of showing me a toast message, I want to what you can say that a text view, or maybe I don't want to make it global. I say text view. Text view is equal to find r dot id dot main what is the text view, welcome text view. Okay, and then we say that text view dot set text, and then we say that welcome. Okay, we need to give the username student dot not student activity. So we have a student object dot get first name, and we can plus student dot get last name. So if I just try to run that activity again, it should have show me that welcome message. Yeah, Alice Panda. Okay, so we fixed that particular specific part. Now I want to add a new activity, and of course we have not done anything with that particular specific recycler view, where we want to show the what you can say that we want to show that particular specific enrollments. So for that particular specific purpose, what we need the enrollment student enrollment view holder first, and then we need to have that particular. So let me close that activity. It's all done. Okay, so again, because we need a student enrollment student enrollment view holder. Okay, so in that particular specific view holder, it should extends the view holder, and then we need to create that constructor. And now the other thing that was required from us is that how we can list item layout for that particular specific enrollment. So let me copy from the other project here. So I say paste. When I say paste, it is going to create. So it is showing me that particular specific thing. So let me quickly add one more thing here, the name, because we are going to display a name here as well. Okay, so let me take this one and show that particular card instead of the course level. So we say that student name. Okay, so here we are going to show name. We have a course code, course level, enrollment date, and then we also have the information. So if you look at that, we have the text view, text view, text view, text view, and text view. We have 1 2 3 4 5 text views that we are going to declare in that particular specific student enrollment view holder. So let me quickly grab from here, and then here I also need to add a student name TV. Okay, and then let me grab where we are initializing these variables quickly. I don't need to like write them again. You know that what I am doing here, I'm just trying to find out the IDs, and student TV is equal to item dot view find by view ID r dot id dot user main main, and then we also have a student name. Okay, so we have those informations. Fine, and now we are done with that particular specific view holder. So let me add that particular specific student enrollment view recycler view adopter. So student and enrollment recycler view adopter. Okay, and that should be the child of adopter, which take a parameter of the student enrollment view holder, and then we need to implement those methods. So we are going to implement those methods. Here the data part is actually a list of what? List of student enrollment data. Student enrollment data, remember that we have created that particular specific student enrollment data, in which has enrollment object, course object, and student object. So we can say that student enrollment data list is equal to null in the beginning. Then we have a public constructor student enrollment recycler view adopter, and this is going to take that particular same kind of data as a parameter data, and we can say that student is equal to data, and here in that particular specific part we are going to say that if that particular student list data is double equal to null, then it is going to return 0. In the else part, it is going to return us the student enrollment data dot size, what are, how many elements are there. And now in this one we are going to create a layout inflator. Inflator is equal to layout inflator dot from parent dot get context, and then we can say that inflator dot inflate, and that should be r dot layout dot student enrollment list view parent, and then it should not be attached to date false. And of course we need to save that particular view inside a variable that we have done here, and then we can simply say that we are going to create a new student enrollment view holder and pass the view. And then once we have done that, then we need to have we can say that we have course data is equal to we can say that student dot get position, and then so dot get course, so it will give me the course. So because if you look at that one, so we have the course title, we have the course code, we have the course level, and then enrollment date. Enrollment date is going to come from the enrollment object. These informations are going to come from the course object, and this information, that's the name of the student, that is going to come from the student table, so student object. So we can say that similarly we say enrollment is equal to the same thing, except I just instead of having the get enrollment, okay. And then here we can say that student is equal to this, and then here instead of the get student, so we have the student information. Then we can say that holder dot course name dot set text, then we can say that course dot get course name, and then we can say that holder dot enroll course level, okay, dot set text, and then this course dot get code is also a string, so here we say course code, okay. So we have course code, and then we have a course level. Course level is actually a integer value, so when it is an integer value, then definitely we need to make sure that we are converting it into the string value before we can course level dot set text course dot get course level, and this is going to give me a integer value, so I have to convert it. So I say string dot value of this, so it is going to be converted into the string, and then it is going to be used over there. So we have set the title, we have set the code, we have set the level, and then we need to have that particular specific what you can say that the date. So for the date is a date object, so how we can convert that particular specific date object into the what you can say that inside into a string format. So what we can do, I can say have a simple date format, okay, SDF, and then inside my view model I also have another static variable which I'm going to define, and I have to make sure that I'm putting in the view model, not somewhere else. So I have date format, okay, format, okay, and then I'm going to use that particular specific format to convert that particular specific date into this particular specific format. So we can what you can say that we are going to initialize that particular specific SDF, that simple date format. SDF is equal to new simple date format, and then we are going to give that particular specific week dot date format, okay. So we have initialized it, so we can use it to get that particular specific enrollment. And the other thing is we can possibly also have something like this. Here we can say that it's a course code, and we can have this one is a course code. Okay, no, not this one. The first is a name. Okay, so course code, and here we can have a course level, holder dot course enrollment date dot set text, yeah, and we can say that date, and we can say that sdf dot format, and then we can say that enrollment dot get enrollment date. So it is going to convert that into a specific format and show over there. And after that we have that holder dot student name dot set text, and then here we are going to get the student get first name, and then we can say that student dot get last name. Maybe we would like to add one thing here, and that is student. Okay, and then we are all set. Okay, so we have fixed all those things. There is nothing else that is rest. So now again, inside our, what we can say that here inside our own create method, we can create a recycler view. Recycler view is equal to find by id, and the id is equal to what? Id is actually r dot id dot user main enrollment cartoon. But let me make sure that we are using the right id name. So this is our student main enrollment recycler view. So we can say that student main enrollment recycler view, and then we can say that recycler view dot set layout manager, and that layout manager is a new linear layout manager passing the context. And here we need to get that particular specific enrollments for the student, and then and get live data. Okay, so first of all, because we are going to get the data, then we need to have that particular specific week view model. View model is equal to null, and then we need to initialize first. So let me initialize before we are going to use it. View model is equal to new week view model, and get application, passing that particular specific thing. And here we are going to say that view model dot get live student email. Okay, so we have not implemented the we didn't put any kind of a method inside our view model. And where is a view model? We have a view model, and then we need to have that particular specific method which is going to return me by the enrollments by the student id. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I am going to add that particular specific enrollment story. Okay, so this should go into the data model. Okay, so it is going to get live student enrollments based on the student id. Okay, and here we are going to say that data model dot get live student enrollments. Yes, and then we need to pass on the student id to this one. Okay, and then this particular specific method we are going to use inside our student main activity. Fine, so here we are going to say that view model dot get live student enrollment, and then we need to pass on the student ID. So we have a student object that is passed when we logged in into that one. So and then we can get the student ID, and now it has returned me a live list. So again we can observe this, and we say new observer, and then in that particular observer we can say that set adopter, and that will be a new um, student enrollment recycler view adopter, and then we can pass on the enrollments. Okay, we also need to note we can't pass on the enrollments, we have to have that particular specific okay, actually we need to have that particular specific which is going to return me the data, student enrollment data, not the enrollment data. Okay, so actually we are looking for the enrollment data, which is taking up that one, and we also need to have that particular specific method inside our data model. Okay, so it is actually returning me that thing, and here we need to say data model, and then get okay, get a live list of the enrolled courses. Okay, and then here we are going to ask not this one, let me remove it. So view model dot get live student enrollment data based on the student ID, and we say student dot get student ID, and we are going to observe this new observer, and here we are going to say that recycler view dot set adopter, and that adopter is going to be the new student enrollment adopter, and then we are going to the enrollment data. Okay, so now if I just try to run it, of course right now we don't have any kind of enrollments over there, so it is not going to work for us right now. It does not show us anything. The reason is that 0 items are there. Fine, so now we have to add the enrollment. So we say add enrollment. When you say add enrollment, we need to have another activity. So let me start a new add a new activity. So we say empty activity, so we can say that add enrollment activity, and then finish. So in the add enrollment activity, I am going to we have the student view holder, we have done this thing, this is our student enrollment data, this is also done, yeah, this is also done, we don't need to do anything else here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to convert that particular specific linear layout. What? Why it is not changed? Linear layout, and then we can say that the orientation is vertical, gravity is horizontal, and in that I am going to, again I'm not going to create that particular specific thing, I just put that particular specific things here. So what I did here, I create a layout, and here we have that particular specific spinner which does not have anything inside it yet, but we are going to add it programmatically, and then we are going to have this one. So this is an add enrollment, so I just try to create that particular specific method here, and this is all done for the time being. And then we are talking about the add enrollment. So inside the add enrollment, we need to initialize the values of this particular specific spinner drop down list based on the what you can say that the data that we have inserted inside our course model. That does we have inserted? No, we have not inserted. So what we need to do, I can do it like programmatically. I go into, I have that particular specific what we can say that I have that particular specific method. Okay, and it is and then we can say, so actually what I am initialize the course data. So what I am saying that try to read the data from the courses table. If that particular specific list of courses is 0, I mean there is no courses are there, then we are going to create the new courses. I mean I create a list of courses and create a new course and add it to the list, and I am adding a few courses here, and at the end I can simply say that course DAO dot insert courses. So I have this particular specific insert courses method, so it will take the courses list and add all those courses inside my database. Okay, so once they are inserted, so we don't need to worry about much. Okay, so that what we need to do, we need to call that particular specific thing whenever we are going to initialize that our model class. So we say that insert or no, initialize the data. So once initialize the course data. So now if I just try to run that thing again, it is going to add that particular specific courses list inside my database as well. So although I haven't done anything, show anything, but we will see that it is there. So now inside my what you can say that add enrollment, I am going to add what you can say that set up this data spinner, because we want to get the inside the data model. Does we have the method? Okay, so let me add data model get all courses. I'm also like trying to get that particular specific methods. We course DAO get all courses, it give me a list of courses back. Okay, and here we are going to create a view model, initialize that particular specific view model. View model is equal to new weak view model and get application context, and then we can have that particular specific. We need to like what you can say that a spinner. Spinner, it is a course list spinner, and then we can initialize that particular specific thing. Course list spinner is equal to find by id r.id add course spinner. Okay, and then we need to initialize the values inside that drop down list. So here is the what you can say that the method which can help us. So what we are trying to do here, so we have an empty list, and then we can say that list of courses that we are going to display here, list course list. Okay, and here we are saying that view model dot get all courses. We don't have that method over there as well. So what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have that particular specific method as well. Get all courses inside our okay, so once we have that method, so we can say that get all courses. So it is going to get me all courses, and then inside that course list, I'm saying that for each course I'm converting that into a toString, and that toString method is actually if I look at that, so we have that particular specific we don't have that method here right now. Let me bring it down. I'm just trying to get the informations here. I mean, we can write, so it is like just concatenating the code name and the level and return back as a string. So it is converted that course into a string and add that into a string array list. And once that particular specific array list has been created, we need to have an adapter which is fill that particular connect that particular array list with the spiner. So it means the information that I want to show in that drop down list that are going to come from this particular specific adapter, and that adapter requires few things. Context is there. We also have that spiner entry layout. Spiner entry layout is a simplest simple thing that I show you last time as well. So I am again just try to what you can say as spiner entry layout file and put it inside this one. So layout file. So if you look at that, it does not have anything, just a text view to show the text, show the string on the screen. Okay, so here, so now if you look at that, we have all done. So what we need to do right now, we say set spiner okay, set student spiner data. So now if I just try to click on that, and click on the add enrollment, okay, we have not implemented yet. So what we need to do, we need to implement that particular specific. So whenever, so main enrollment click button done, so we can say that intent is equal to new intent required to this, and then we say add enrollment activity dot class, and after that we can simply say that start activity, and we pass on the intent. And when we just try to rerun that particular specific activity, install, launching the activity, click on that. So now you can see that it is showing me my all the courses that I have added over there. So it means that our initialization of the course has been successful. Now we need to implement the add enrollment. So we already have that particular specific the view holder inside our add enrollment. Okay, and then we can simply ask this particular specific add enrollment method to give me this thing. So I'm just trying to copy paste. Already it's 2 hours, almost 2 hours video already done, so maybe I will break it down and then go to the next one, another long. So what I'm, because we need to have that particular specific, we have a course list. Okay, so first of all we need to get a course from this particular course. Which one is selected? So we say that course list dot get course list dot selected. And the other thing that I would like to, if you look at that, where is my menu? I mean, it's gone, that menu bar. If you look at that, if I go back into my what you can say that the main welcome screen, it is there, but when I click on the add enrollment, it is gone. What? I mean, do I need to like implement that particular specific two methods here? I mean, this method here again in every activity that I'm going to create, or there is another intelligent way to do that? So first let me handle that particular specific thing. So for the enrollment we need a few things. Number one thing, enrollment, I'm putting 0 here. Okay, when I'm putting 0 here, it means that it is auto generated. I put whatever it is, it does not matter, because system will automatically generate the ID 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 in that table. So I don't need to worry about that enrollment ID. I can put anything, -1 1 0 whatever it is. I put 0 here, and then we need a student ID. From where that we can get the student ID? So the one thing is that you can make that particular specific student object static. Okay, once you make that particular specific object student static, then we can say that student main activity dot student. Okay, and then we can get the student id, and course id is coming from this particular specific course because we have already read all the list of the courses, and then the date will be new. I mean, whatever the current date is, it is going to be and then inside the view model we must have the insert enrollment method. So if we uh, insert enrollment method, so let me see that insert enrollment method from my and I'm okay, let me, I mean, it is not that difficult. So we can say that public, it is going to give me a long value, sorry, long value insert, and it will take enrollment object, and then it will ask the data model dot insert student. So again, in the data model we also don't have the insert enrollment, so we can say that public, it return me back a long I can give the same name, enrollment, and then it will return enrollment DAO dot insert enrollment. So I have created this one. I am going to call insert enrollment, and at the end. So Amit, we are going to return that thing here as well. So inside the main, no, here. So here I am going to check. So we are saying that view model dot insert enrollment object is passed. If it does not return me a -1, it means has been successfully added. So I will show this message and finish this particular specific activity. So let me run it. So we can say enrollment, we go and select something and add an enrollment, and you can see that because we are using the live data, so as soon as there is some change in that data, it is automatically coming into our recycler view Alice Wonder, and it is also showing me the date, level, and the course code and the title of that particular specific object. But the point is, when I go into that one, it is not like showing me the menu bar. Okay, so I finish this particular specific, and how we can fix that menu bar, I will come back and discuss about that later on, how we can develop a menu bar activity which can extend, all the activities can extend, and they can have the same menu with the same features. Okay, so stay tuned, look for my next video. Bye.